Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Golden MF Michael Fletcher alongside my good friend Anthony Florio. And ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get it on and turn it up right here. So let's do it. We got Smackdown live as usual. And if the show does end on time, and we're going to await this, we might even do the premiere edition of AEW Rampage. It is going on at this hour. Um we are awaiting the result if that happens. So we'll wait and see what happens. We'll wait and see how this plays out. Uh More than anything else. So right now we're about to get started, and as always, we will get started with SmackDown Live as we normally would do. So here we go, guys. SmackDown Live tonight. As I'm getting my notes here. All right, here we go. And we indeed started it off uh, with a promo segment. John Cena and Roman Reigns, the back and forth, they went at it. This got very interesting. I think this was a very good verbal exchange between the two men. We all remember how this plays out. We already know how good Roman and Cena were promos back in the day. They picked up right where they left off. It was a solid, very good verbal spat, but it wasn't as powerful as the one from years ago, where when they really went at it. This one was good. It was just as good, just as enjoyable. I enjoyed it. There's really nothing more to say. So, Anthony Florio, it is all yours. Cena versus and Roman, pretty good, pretty good.
This was nearly a half hour, and every single minute of it was compelling television. Thanks to John Cena's unparalleled mic skills and a more confident Roman Reigns than the last time they sparred verbally. For a SummerSlam match that had stars but lackluster booking behind it, this was everything it needed to be to put some heat behind it and make fans that much more excited to invest in. The idea that Cena may take off with the Universal Championship heading back to Hollywood and leaving WWE without a champion is an interesting idea that the company really should explore a bit in the last week before the pay-per-view. Reigns suggesting Cena could win the WWE Championship from Bobby Lashley, but not the Universal Championship from him, was a nice jab at Raw and a tip of the hat to the on-screen rivalry that exists between the two brands. Just straight fire from two greats. And yeah, they went there. I mean, Roman Reigns bringing up Nikki Bella. We all know how that worked out. I mean, enough of a backstory there. We all know how that ended. And of course, the and then Cena, taking that little jab at CM Punk. You remember Money in the Bank 2011? CM Punk won the title. He left through the crowd with the belt, blew a kiss to Vinnie Mac, and that was it. I think that was a nice little jab at that too. So, yeah, I've said my piece. This was the segment of the night. There was no doubt about it. So, and spoiler alert, it was another week where the in-ring segments once again delivered. So, there isn't much more to say here. MF, let's start the in-ring action, the wrestling portion of the show, and what a way to start it off with a title match. Not just any title match, the prestigious Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship.
That's right. It was Apollo Crews putting the title on the line against King Nakamura, the winner of the bout, in 10 minutes and 10 seconds. And new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, King Nakamura. Anthony Florio, history was made. We have ourselves a new champion.
Right here. This is what it's all about. right here. The
Oh
Intercontinental.
my.
Take a look. This is the old version. This is the old school. You know that.
That's the greatest version of them all.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. And this one's for you, King. This one's for you, our King. That's all there is to say on that. So, yes, indeed. All right. All kidding aside with that, you know, I'm a little surprised. Before I get into my thoughts, I was a little surprised that they actually did this tonight. I thought for sure they were going to save it for SummerSlam. I really did, but no. This was one of the fights of the night here, but not without criticism. And so Apollo Crews' title reign ends not with a bang, but a whimper. The now former champion once had momentum on his side as one of the breakout heels on the Smackdown roster, but has seen his profile on the show diminish in recent months, while Nakamura gained more screen time and renewed popularity thanks to the partnership with Rick Boogs. It is disappointing to see Crews' time come to an end in a relatively nondescript rivalry, especially considering the work he put into his persona. One can only hope he does not fade into obscurity, because he has been one of the unsung workhorses of WWE dating back to his United States Heavyweight Championship run last year on Raw. As for Nakamura, the win at least gives him something significant to do after spending far too long wandering aimlessly prior to the Corbin feud. So, I mean, what a great moment for King Nakamura. Becomes only the second man in the history of WWE to be a king and hold a championship. The other was King Booker when he had that crown and the World Heavyweight Championship in 2006. 15 years later, the King does it here tonight, and what a last couple of months for him, and who knows, bigger and better things could be on the horizon for our King, no doubt about that. And Apollo's title run ends at 124 days. So solid run, but it could have been better. But a very good match, though. Very good match here. One of the fights of the night for sure. I'm going to give this about 3 to 3.25 stars for the effort. So there isn't much more to say on that. MF, as you just said, history was made at the BOK Box Center in Tulsa, Oklahoma tonight. A new Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion crown. What a moment.
King Nakamura now becomes a two-time champion and now joins an illustrious group of men that has held the belt more than once in their career. That's rarefied air for Nakamura, and what a resurgence for Shinsuke Nakamura. A lot of people were saying, he's just going through the motions. You know, he hasn't really been relevant lately. All of a sudden, and I gotta say, this has been a very good summer for Nakamura. First being crowned the king, taking the crown off of Baron Corbin during the you could say the Thunderdome days, and he really has benefited getting a monster push, and now walks away with the Intercontinental Championship. Like you said, a very rare moment where a person gets crowned the king and then gets a championship right behind it. Big deal, big victory for him. Yeah, this is awesome. Incredible moment. Congratulations to Nakamura for winning it. And we move on as we had the Street Profits goes up against the Alpha Academy. Street Profits wins the match in 4 minutes. You know, it was all right. I don't think it was really anything to talk about. It was short, sweet, straight to the point. But I am a little surprised that they gave the Street Profits such a quick measure of revenge. I thought they were going to stretch this out a little more, but you know, it's a good thing. Congratulations, big win for Street Profits. We'll see how this plays out down the line. So I got nothing more to say. This was about maybe a 2-star fight. Fun little sprint. Anthony, it's yours.
What was that time again?
roughly 4 minutes even.
4 minutes even. 1.5 to 2 for me. For a match with 2 months of build, this was fairly brief and did nothing to really make either team look that much better than when they entered. The commentary team can hype the implications of a win to the tag team title aspirations, but when such little time is devoted to it, it becomes clear to the audience just how much of a priority the two teams are at this point. No, they don't have SummerSlam matches, and time is being devoted to the stories that will culminate at the show. So why bother? Book an angle that continues the feud, then blow it off after the pay-per-view. 1.5 to 2 for me, and I think it's positioning the Street Profits to possibly become future contenders for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship after SummerSlam. So not much more to say here. 1.5 to 2. I probably would say second worst fight of the night for me. So with that, let's move on.
All right, and then we do move on, Anthony, and it's going to lead you off because it was Seth Rollins cutting a promo on Edge. Edge does, and it was really more Seth Rollins dropping a video package. Oh man, Anthony, Seth Rollins on the mic is money, but tonight had to been one of his personal best, and what a hype for a match at SummerSlam with the Rated R Superstar.
This Seth Rollins Edge promo has been fantastic, thanks in large part to the work of the heel. Rollins walks the fine line between comically over the top and deadly serious so well that you never really know exactly what to expect from him. Here he was great, shaking off the smiles and laughs to address Edge directly, adding gravity to the feud with the comment about Edge's interference in his pursuit of the Universal Championship costing his family. This was a money promo that informed the audience of the root of the feud, what is at stake, and what it means to the competitors. Kudos to Seth Rollins for carrying it. Hopefully, Edge returns next week in Phoenix to put an exclamation point on the build to this feud. I think out of all the matches that have been built so far, this one just may have the best build yet, with Roman and Cena right behind. So the SmackDown side of things, when it comes to SummerSlam, the builds have been great. The Raw side, not so much. But what do you expect? So there isn't much more to say there. So another great segment here, another money segment here. So that's not much more to say. MF, I mean, it's continuing a great build. What is this, like 3 or 4 weeks now in a row that we've seen on SmackDown Live? The in-ring segments have been absolutely amazing. In-ring, yes. I mean, those 2 little words. What are those 2 little words that we always say SmackDown Live has been known for, unlike that Monday show?
Storyline progression. And that's the key word. And the thing is that I feel like the storyline is they're building it to a crescendo. They're giving us something that I think we all are going to feel that could be better down the line. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. But, yeah, absolutely. So, we're just going to – it feels really good. That's all I'm going to say. It feels really good. Next up, we had on the fight card, we had Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, the Dirty Dogs, going up against Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, the Mysterios. Mysterios wins the match in 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And then I guess it's official. They made it official. It will be the Mysterios versus the Usos. The SmackDown Tag Team titles on the line at SummerSlam. So the belts will be on the line. Look, nice win for the Mysterios. That gives them the momentum that they need. But it was a short match. This could be another 1.5. 1 to 1.5 is my rating for the match. I think it could have been a lot better. But look, they were a little crunched for time. And I think what they did next, and especially the main event, was actually more worthy. So I don't mind that the match went the way that it did. Anthony, it's yours.
Did you say 220 or 320 for the match?
320 for the match.
320. All right. This was the other worst fight of the night here. I could probably say this was probably the worst of it right here. 1 to 1.5 for me. The match itself wasn't much different than what we have seen out of these two teams before. What helped elevate the rating was the subtle teases at dissension between father and son, as well as the Usos' attempted interference that served as hype for their pay-per-view title match. Rey and Dominic are headed to a nasty breakup that will ultimately turn the young star heel and set up a heated grudge match, and these little hints of father growing frustrated with his son's stubbornness are a great way to plant the seeds. So that's all I can say on this. 1 to 1.5 for me. And next up, MF, a match that honestly going in, I was like, who cares? They shut my ass up real quick.
Yeah, started off with a Baron Corbin promo. Then it led into a match. It's a 2-for-1, folks. We don't get that many, but we do on SmackDown tonight. Kevin Owens versus Baron Corbin. Kevin Owens wins the match in 9 minutes and 50 seconds. Oh yeah, Anthony. You were definitely eating a slice of humble pie on after this match.
Yeah, I got it. What was that? What was that time again?
9:50.
9:50. Yeah. Sleeper fight of the night. What can I say? I would probably give this a solid 3 stars for the effort. I mean, this was a strong competitive match between two of the workhorses of WWE. Baron Corbin has long been an underrated in-ring performer, but the character he has perfected to this point only helps elevate his performance. Kevin Owens is consistently great, regardless of the attention WWE creative is paying him at any given time. They worked well together here, even if there is no intention for the feud to continue. Corbin stealing the Money in the Bank briefcase was a nice touch, while there is absolutely no argument or reason for Big E to lose his title opportunity at this point. A feud with Corbin would give him something to do, considering the fact that he has been hanging around backstage with no real direction. So that's really all I can say on this. Solid 3 stars and sleeper fight of the night. I mean, going in, I was like, this is going to suck. Oh, no, it did not suck. This ended up being a lot better than I thought. A pleasant surprise, to say the very least. And it gave this SmackDown tonight a second good quality match, along with Nakamura and Cruz. So that's really all there is to say on that. So sleeper fight of the night, MF. I mean, I was like, going in, but the more competitive it got, I'm like, what? Wow.
Yeah.
Totally surprised.
Yeah, and then of course it leads us 3 stars for me as well. This was a well done match, beautifully done, great match, great action, great battle. And at the end of the day, I thought the right person won it. I thought yes, Kevin Owens gets the win here, which is great because it could add a little more sympathy, and I really do believe it that it would add a little more sympathy to the champion, for Corbin to get the loss here. He has been trying to play that sympathy card more than anything else, but at the end of the day, they got it. It was a good outcome more than anything else, and at the end, this was what you needed it to get. So now here we are, and we're now in a situation where it's kind of one of those situations where it breaks down that, you go from there, and we'll have to see how this plays out. So 3 stars. Main event segment was I guess this was a contract signing for the SmackDown Women's title at SummerSlam, as it would be the champion. Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. And this was actually really good. This was actually a good little outcome, more than, to say the very least. Really nothing more to add. So, Anthony, I mean, this had a lot going on as far as the storyline goes. So there's really nothing more to add. So yeah, let's move on.
Sasha Banks, Carmella, and Zelina Vega just casually setting aside their differences leaves a lot to be desired from a creative perspective, especially after the latter and the boss sparred verbally a week ago. But this was another strong promo segment on a show full of them. The intensity, the delivery, all of it was on point and really hammered home the idea that these two women do not like each other. After being humiliated and beaten down this week, it will be interesting to see if Bianca Belair will react emotionally, and if she does, can Sasha Banks capitalize and use said emotions against her? So we're gonna have to see about that come 8 nights from now in Las Vegas. So
at Allegiant.
yeah, so with that, we're gonna get into our overall review now, and I'm going to
Yep.
I'm gonna start it off on that. So yes, yeah. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, I could probably give this 7.5. I would have to say this was about the pushes towards SummerSlam, and that worked out rather well. I'm excited for the show. We're all excited for the show, which is feeling like it could be something big. But then again, they've already gone on the record and said they want to make this thing bigger than WrestleMania. And as of right now, they're on their way to doing that. Now all they have to do is live up to that hype, and we could be in for a heck of a show. That has been the case for a long time in WWE, though, and the pieces are there to make it work this time around. Was it the best show ever? No. But it was a very, very good show. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, and you had, once again, I think this is like the third or fourth week in a row, the in-ring segments, insanely amazing. I mean, we usually, we're like, who cares about promo segments? But with the promo segments that we've gotten on this show over the last several weeks, I mean, just incredible. Every in-ring segment delivered in one way or another. Maybe the Corbin and Owens thing may not have been for everybody. Definitely wasn't for me. But man, the opening bits between Cena and Roman, really good stuff. Nakamura winning the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship was definitely the right call. Even Corbin and Owens got a decent little match, given their closing stretch. The stuff with Corbin's promo and stealing the briefcase, I could have done without. But WWE loves to have the Money in the Bank winner lose a ton of matches before cashing in. The Belair and Banks stuff, I mean, just amazing. And what else is there to say? I mean, the storyline progression up, definitely got kicked up a notch. Wow, I don't know what's going on here, but we're definitely I think we could definitely get into because we're definitely getting on the time here, and I think we're right around I think we're right there. So man, definitely a big angle to close out the show tonight. So 7.5. That's my rating for this. So there isn't much more to say. MF, I mean, your show, man, your show just keeps getting better and better. I mean, Raw has so much work to do. It's not even funny. I mean, if they keep doing what they're doing, we're going to have to endure more Derek Ferrera rants, especially that one he went on the other night. Oh, my goodness. I mean, absolute insanity on that one. But here, I mean, but SmackDown, we got nothing to worry about. I mean, the storyline progression has been top-notch, and I think the SmackDown side of the card is definitely going to be putting on more bangers of matches than the Raw side, even though Raw's got some of their own. But the SmackDown side is definitely the more money lineup come next Saturday night. So 7.5 for me. MF, we'll get into your thoughts and whatever else you want to get into. I mean, if you want to get into Rampage, we can certainly
we could definitely do it because it has gone off the air, and we will cover that momentarily, folks. First off, I do agree with it. 7.5 out of 10. A solid show, no doubt about it. like we said, storyline progression, the promo segments absolutely destroyed. It was amazing, and we had two good matches. So no, if you're on Fox, you got to be very happy with the way WWE has been going lately. Monday Night Raw, yeah, you can call it a dumpster fire. You can say that they definitely got a lot of work to go. But SmackDown is just chugging along. As of right now, they're the best of the two shows. I don't think there's much of an argument with that. And now we move on to AEW Rampage, the first show ever. Once again from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, from the Patterson Event Center, and we started it off with the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship. The champion Kenny Omega, the challenger Christian Cage, the winner of the bout in 15 minutes and 25 seconds, and new Impact World Champion Christian Cage. He's now a two-time champion. First, the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, or I should say, the NWA TNA World Heavyweight Champion, and now he gets the Impact World title, the two belts, the TNA World Heavyweight title, the Impact World Championship. He got them both. It now belongs to him. The belt collector has lost some belts. Fight of the night, about 4 stars for me. This was a solid match, great battle. And I'm happy that Christian won the title. And I hate to say this, but this could be an even worse night for Kenny Omega. Tomorrow night is Triple Mania. Tomorrow night, he's got to put the AAA Mega Copion on the line against Andrade El Idolo in Mexico City. Anthony, this could be a horrible weekend for Omega. He just lost the Impact World title. Tomorrow night, he might lose the Mega Copion.
Whoa. That's a lot to think about there. I'm sorry to ask this again, but what was the time of the fall again?
15:25.
15:25. All right. I thought it was a little longer than that, but all right. No, I'm right there with you. This was the fight of the night. 4 stars. Kenny Omega is well regarded for his in-ring ability, and Christian Cage is one of the most reliable performers working today. So they had a lot of pressure on them to make this a match worthy of a pay-per-view. Thankfully, they were up to the challenge. They used a steady pace during the first half of the fight. They worked quickly, but it never felt rushed. They gave the right spots time to breathe and knew when to ramp things up again. The finish was actually somewhat surprising, which is always welcome in a big title bout. Christian holding the Impact title again in 2021 is wild. I mean, wow. A 2-time former NWA TNA heavyweight champion during his previous time in Impact Wrestling. And I'm actually kind of not surprised about this. I kind of had a feeling. I had a feeling in the pit of my gut that Christian was going to win the title because of a couple of things that happened on the Impact Wrestling show last night on Access TV. AEW's Alex Marvez actually made a cameo appearance and did an interview in the locker room with Christian Cage, and Christian said, "I'm going to be on Impact Wrestling next week," and he's like, "Okay," and then the events of later that night, which was a battle royale to determine the number 1 contender for that title. And when the winner of that ended up being, believe it or not, the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers, that's when I said the writing's on the wall. I think Christian's going to win the belt. And I think they're going to want to start off Rampage with a bang. And boy, howdy, they started it off with this is as big of a bang as you can start with, as you can start a new show. I mean, this is why AEW has, garnered such a huge following in just 2 short years. I mean, a special moment indeed. And And I know this is why Derek Ferrera just absolutely loves AEW and why. And I'm like, hey, you would never see WWE do anything like this. So, I mean, what a special moment, and good for Christian Cage, man. I mean, here's a guy who 7 years ago had to put his career on hold, because of concussion stuff and symptoms of CTE and the whole 9 yards and everything else, and had limited action and all that, for a few years, limited to get guest appearances and the whole 9 yards, sporadic appearances, like with the Peep Show and everything else and other things, and that night last year in WWE when Randy Orton and Ric Flair did what they did to him on that Monday Night Raw last year. So he has come a long way since then, and what a moment. I mean, gets to start his in-ring career again. He goes to AEW for a fresh start, and what a fresh start. He's undefeated, and he now holds the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship. And no rest for the weary, because next Friday night, as part of the Impact Plus special event, Emergence, Christian Cage will now defend his newly won Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship against the most professional wrestler, Brian Myers. So that goes down next Friday night on Impact Plus as part of that Emergence special. So you thought tonight was a big Friday night of wrestling. Next week's going to be even bigger, because you're going to have the Smackdown go-home show for SummerSlam in Phoenix, the big AEW Rampage in Chicago at the United Center, and then you throw in the Emergence special on the Impact Plus, which I have. So what a time to be a wrestling fan, folks. What a time to be a wrestling fan. What a time to be alive. That's all there is to say on that. So congratulations, Christian Cage. Well-deserved. Special moment. MF, can you think of a better way to start a new show? I mean, you talk about how to, you start new shows, there have been many times where they've been and all that good stuff, but I don't think I have ever seen a new show start with more of a bang than this one did. What a moment. Congratulations, Christian Cage. 4 stars, fight in the night. So, MF, no rest for the weary. Next week, he's got to go against Brian Myers at Emergence. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. So, and I'll definitely get into that on the future Tony's Take. What a moment, MF. Wow. You want to talk about starting a new show with a bang? I don't think you could have started up with any bigger of a bang than that. Whoa.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This was a solid match. No doubt about it. Then it does lead us into the next match. But first off, let's talk about it. This was a big win. Christian Cage winning the title. And like I said, we also got another. We'll talk about the Triple Mania, because there's actually a couple of matches that, Anthony, you're going to have a vested interest in. With one particular match, there's a vested interest in that you're going to have to keep your eye on. We'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, we're talking about an incredible match, to say the very least. But yeah, history made. Christian Cage wins the title, and now he's got to fight Brian Myers. So we'll wait and see how that plays out. Next up we had was Miro versus Fuego del Sol. Miro wins the match in 2 minutes and 5 seconds. But there was a little added caveat to it, that if Fuego del Sol won the match, not only he becomes the TNT champion, but he becomes a full-time AEW superstar. However, we don't need to talk about the match at all. This was a virtual squash once Miro got going. He destroys Fuego del Sol, which we thought that meant Fuego, his AEW dreams gets dashed. Well, no, it doesn't get dashed. Tony Khan and Sammy Guevara comes after the match and tells Fuego, no, you've earned your spot. You've done enough. You're now all elite. You're officially a full-time competitor of AEW. Led us to the main event of the evening. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Red Velvet for the AEW Women's World title. and I don't have a time, but I do believe it was somewhere around the 8-minute mark, the winner of the bout, and still the AEW Women's World Champion, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Anthony Floyo, it is yours. It was Brittsburg. The terrible towels were there, and Dr. Britt Baker finds a way to get the job done. But Red Velvet, boy, she came dangerously close to pulling the title away from her.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed.
8 minutes and 35 seconds unofficial.
Oh, well, okay. I'll give this about 2.5 to 3 for the effort. This match was even bigger for Red Velvet than the mixed tag bout with Cody Rhodes against Shaquille O'Neal and Jade Cargill back in March on Dynamite. AEW put her in the main event of its debut episode of Rampage in a title match. That's a lot of trust for a company to put in a young performer. AEW knew Britt Baker would be the hometown favorite, so it planned out this match to give her comeback spots to get the crowd excited. It was a smart call to have her tone down her heel tactics. Red Velvet continues to look more confident in the ring with each match, and this was easily her best performance to date. She didn't come across as a newcomer. She looked like a real contender. This was a solid main event and a great way to end the first episode of Rampage. No doubt about that. So,
Anthony, I actually stand corrected. I actually missed it by 2 minutes. It was 10:34 officially.
Oh, well, then I'm going to change my rating for this. I'm going to give it 3 to 3.25 stars for the rating then. But yeah, but everything I said, I'm not changing that. Everything I just said now, that's exactly how I still feel about it. So, yeah, big moment for Red Velvet there. But after the match, we had a lot of chicanery after the match. Chris Statlander I saw get involved, and a lot of other things went down.
Jake Hager's wife. That was Jake Hager's wife. That was
Catalina.
Jamie. Huh?
I thought her name was Catalina, unless I'm wrong about that.
Well, no, it's Jamie Hayter. But okay. She was formerly known as Catalina.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So she gets involved, and so yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see what's going on with that, and come Wednesday night on Dynamite. So yeah, 3 to 3.25 stars. It was the second best fight of the night, and I mean that crowd at the University of Pittsburgh at the Peterson Event Center. I mean, they were amped for that, and it played out exactly like I thought it would. I mean, it played out exactly like, Money in the Bank 2011, in Chicago, CM Punk, the hometown hero, John Cena, the not so much, and yeah, Red Velvet got the Cena treatment here tonight, and Dr. Britt got the Punk treatment, no doubt about that. So, wow, what a night, and that's all there is to say on this, and 3 to 3.25 for me. So, MF, easily Red Velvet's best performance and probably her biggest match, probably since that mixed tag back in March.
Yeah, actually, just to give you a little side note about Jamie Hayter, or like you call her, Catalina, just to let you guys know, she actually has wrestled all around the world. And she'd actually been for all you fans in England, if you know her really well from Revolution Pro Wrestling, yeah, that's the big company from that was in that's actually in England. That's like one of their premier companies. She did appear on NXT UK once, where she fought Piper Niven. So she had that one match with her. She actually did have a brief stint in AEW, only one time, made her debut against Dr. Britt Baker and won that match. Then in a backstage interview, got attacked by Brandy Rhodes. I don't know how that ended up. Made a return just for a brief episode on AEW Dynamite. Teaming up with Emma Soraka, and she went up against Riho and Shana, and they won that. Emma Soraka and her won that match, and of course now she has made her return uh, in AEW, and it looks like she's now friends with Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Solid main event, like you said, three and a quarter stars. Solid main event, good show, and yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, overall, not bad of a night. Two of the three matches were really good. One was a complete utter squash. You got to toss that one out the door. So I say 7 out of 10. So I think it was a good show. Good debut episode of Rampage. Anthony, it's yours.
I think you underscored it a bit. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I mean, because that crowd, I mean, a lot of things. I mean, that Christian and Omega, they were the fight of the night. Second best fight of the night, obviously, Dr. Britt and Red Velvet. The other match was obviously by default the worst fight of the night, even though Fuego did have a couple of hope spots in there. But it wasn't just because of the action. It was also the crowd. The crowd had a part in it. Commentary was great. I mean, I'm already loving that 4-man booth with Excalibur, Chris Jericho, Taz, and Mark Henry. I mean, they all did a great job on that, and I mean, all those elements, I mean, made that a great show, and I know what put it over the top for MF, and I can get away with this because Dee Dee's not here, and that is MF. I know you were probably very happy to see your old lady friend from SmackDown, Dasha. So.
Ring announcing, yeah, absolutely.
Dasha Gonzalez, formerly Dasha Fuentes, when she was the backstage interviewer on MF's old show SmackDown Live, and I know that made MF a very happy man to see her. So, but anyways, once again, all kidding aside, this to me was I could probably go 7.5 to 8 because that was a very good show tonight. All the reasons included, 3 matches, 2 delivered. One, not so much. It was a delicious squash. What can I say? But we ended up getting a payout because Fuego got a contract. So big moment for that young man. And crowd was electric. Commentary was dynamic. So I don't know what else there is to say. 7.5 to 8 for me. So MF, I understand we've got a very loaded Mikey's mindset tonight. So get to it.
It's not really loaded, but I do want to get this out of the way because tomorrow night, like I said, from Mexico City, it's going to be at the Atletismo in Mexico City, Mexico, at la Arena de Ciudad de Mexico. It is Triple Mania 29 of these we've done ever since 1993. And yeah, here we go, guys. Last year, there was no fans allowed because this was pandemic. But the fans will be back for this event tomorrow night, and we have ourselves an incredible lineup, to say the very least. It starts off with a trios match. La Presidad, Puma King, Sam Adonis, and DMT Azul. They're going to go up against Team Triple A of Chessman, Pagano, and Murder Clown of the Psycho Circus. Then we have a Copa Bandera, Triple A, Triple Mania 29 match, and there will be Drago, Mamba, Mr. Iguana, and a fourth person. We do not know who that person is as we speak, but it is a fatal 4-way, and the winner wins the Copa Barradia Cup. This is a traditional cup that they put on the line at Triple Mania. So then we have Team Linda Ladera America against Team Terror Perpola, where this is basically a Marvel Lucha Libre exhibition match. This is kind of them showing the characters of Marvel. So this is where you might get like some of your favorite villains from the Marvel Universe versus some of your favorite good guys on the Marvel Universe. This is kind of one of those that I'll easily call the worst fight of the night. This is one that out of all the matches, this is going to be the one that really is not going to be anything special. So I would pass on this one, just to say the very least. Just to give you guys a heads up. All right. Then we got what they call a lucha de apparatus. This is hair versus mask. The hair of Rey Ibición versus the mask of Psycho Clown. So this is one of those matches. If Psycho Clown loses, he loses his mask. If Rey Excepcion loses the match, he gets his hair shaved right in Triple Mania. This is traditional. There's always one of these matches. We always have this match. This always happens once a year. Now, this is the match that Anthony Florio will have very vested interest in, because this one is champion versus champion, title for title, winner take all. AAA, Reina de Reinas champions, the women's champion of AAA, Fabi Apache, goes up against the Impact Knockouts champion, the Virtuosa, Diana Purrazzo, title for title. Anthony Florio, this is it. We've seen Fabi Apache. You know her very well from her days of Lucha Underground. She goes up against the Virtuosa, Diana Purrazzo. The Impact titles on the line. The AAA women's titles on the line. My God, one of these two women is going to have two belts at the end of this night.
And I also know Fabi Apache from her time, she's done some work for Impact before. I mean, I definitely remember seeing her down there a little bit. But for me, I gotta be honest here. I gotta go with Diana Purrazzo. I mean, she right now is the be all end all when it comes to women's wrestling. I mean, she is right now one of my front runners for female wrestler of the year in 2021. I mean, it's a 2-horse race. It's between her and Bianca Belair, even though I'm leaning more towards Bianca because of what she's done this year. But right there is Diana Purrazzo, and with the role that she's been on over the last year or so, currently running as the Knockouts champion in Impact, and recently, along with Matthew Raywald, aka former Aiden English, a couple weeks ago, winning the homecoming tournament down there to become the king and queen of Impact Wrestling. And I mean, what else is there for me to say? I mean, I know Fabi Apache's going to give her a fight, and the logic would be for Fabi to win because it's in Mexico, but right now, MF, you can't go against Diana Purrazzo. Diana Purrazzo, next to Bianca Belair, is the best women's wrestler in professional wrestling today, in my honest opinion. So I got to go with the Virtuosa here.
You know what? I gotta go. I would love to see Fabi win the title, but I think it will be the Virtuosa as well. That's gonna be a heck of a match, and I'll keep you posted on that, Anthony. I'll let you know how that's gonna go down. And then, of course, the main event: Kenny Omega versus Andrade El Idolo. The Mega Campeón de Físico Completo is on the line. The AAA, the AAA World Heavyweight Championship. Anthony, I'm going in this. I was thinking maybe Omega some way somehow pulls it off, but after what I just saw tonight,
yes,
after what I just saw tonight, I honestly think Andrade El Idolo is going to win the title. I think Omega's going to go into a downward spiral.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's going to lose this belt. I think when it's all said and done, I think we might be yelling. I might be yelling in Spanish, nuevo campeón, ay Dios mío, Andrade el ídolo, nuevo, triple A, mega campeón y físico completo esta noche.
How do you say? I mean, we all know how fluent in Spanish you are, but my question is, do you know how to say history has been made in Spanish?
I think it would be Historia. I'll get back to you on that. I'll let you know. But
Okay.
I think I know how to say it. I just gotta remember it.
I agree. I definitely agree. I mean, I think Andrade is going to win. I know he's got to be a folk hero down there. He's got to be. And are there going to be fans there, or is it limited capacity? No fans.
From what I heard, there will be fans. So yeah, there's definitely going to be. Yep.
Oh yeah, I got and I'm sure Andrade's got to be a big folk hero down there.
Oh yeah, he's huge. His family is well known in Mexico. Oh yeah, he's well known. He is a hero down in Mexico. So no,
I wonder.
This is home turf advantage for Andrade.
And what are the chances that maybe his fiance might show up in the crowd? Or is that?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about her being down there. I know who you're talking about. I have not heard anything about her being in Mexico City tomorrow night. Unless I hear something last minute, I have not heard any reports of her being down there.
Well, his family's going to be. I'm sure his family's going to be there.
So. Oh yeah, absolutely.
How can he not? How can he not walk out the new AAA Mega Campeón come tomorrow night? I mean, and especially after what just happened about an hour ago, when Christian Cage made history and took the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship from Kenny Omega. I would not at all be surprised if Andrade El Idolo walks out of Triple Mania as the brand new AAA Mega Campeón. So I think that will happen, but I do think Omega will stop the bleeding come All Out, because I think they're going to want to have him hold the AEW World Championship until Hangman Adam Page is ready to come back from his paternity leave. So that I think that they might hold that thing off until November, because the next AEW pay-per-view after All Out will be Full Gear in November, and I wouldn't be surprised if they have Omega hold the belt till then. And if it ends up being the Hangman there, then I think the Hangman, because I think they're grooming the Hangman to be the next AEW World Heavyweight Champion.
And actually, we've read a couple of dirt sheets that's actually saying the same thing, that the Hangman Adam Page will be the one that will dethrone and eventually will become the AEW World Champion. And the thing is that the reason why that they dropped him off the ladder was because of the fact that his girlfriend is due at any time, right around that time of Labor Day weekend. She is due for that baby. So that's why they had him dropped off the top 5 and out of the top 5. And that's to hold him back. And yeah, at the earliest, November would probably be the date where Hangman could become the AEW World Heavyweight Champion. But yeah, I kind of feel like now, and plus with the quote unquote with the forbidden door being swung open so many times now, that it's probably fine that we got this. So I don't think there's going to be much of a panic. But yeah, I think they want to give Christian Cage a run with the title, let him be in Impact for a little bit. They probably won't need him in AEW. Obviously, he's got to fight him at All Out for the title. So, I mean, we'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting evening. That goes down tomorrow night. And could I say it, Historia? That's how they say it. And that's history has been made in Spanish. Say it, Historia is what. Could I be saying those words tomorrow night?
You might.
I might.
I think you will. I think you will. I mean, especially after what we saw tonight about an hour ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
we'll see. We'll see. So that's it, guys. We're done for this evening. Monday night, we do it all over again. We got
SummerSlam week.
SummerSlam week. We're going for it, guys. We're gonna do a preview. Well, first it's traditional, ridiculously raw. Anthony Floyo hosts it. Monday Night Raw. Friday, he's got AEW live. And not AEW.
Impact Wrestling at 205 Live.
Impact 205 Live. Then Wednesday, another edition of Wednesday Night Mayhem. We got AEW. We got Impact. We got NXT and AEW Dynamite. Thursday, yes, Strictly Sports is back. This time we got Michael Bullock and my experience as we went to Gillette last night. We got the Field of Dream games. Holy crap!
Oh yes.
Are you kidding me? What?
It went from like a 2.5 star game to a 5-star Shakespearean drama classic right before our eyes.
Dude, that was the best baseball game of the year. That was the
game of the year. Regular season game of the year. Absolutely.
Are you kidding me? So we got
what
that.
A finish.
Of course, we got the big three as well. We're gonna
supersized recap.
Supersized recap. And yeah, we got nothing else. And then we got Smackdown. And then on Friday, it's Smackdown Live. We might do another edition of Rampage, depending on what time we get out of there. And then, of course, the preview for SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver 36 super-sized blowout show. And then now I'm going to debate this, and I want your thoughts on this. Should we do the recap of SummerSlam on Saturday night, or should we wait and lump it with the NXT on Sunday and do another supersized show, do both SummerSlam and the TakeOver on Sunday night all in one?
Wow. I wish Bullock and Didi were here so we could get their input, but I don't know, man. I mean,
I guess we'll leave it to a poll. We'll leave it to a poll. We'll let them decide, and then we'll go from there. We'll put it on our messenger and then decide from there. So
there you go.
All right, guys. So we're out of here. We're getting out of here. So everybody have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much, Anthony Floyo. Thank you guys as always. Have a wonderful evening. For all of us here, I'm going to limit Michael Fletcher, for Anthony Floyo, saying have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you guys on Monday. Goodbye.